Hello and welcome to World Talks here on TVP World. I'm Skaya. And we focus on the latest developments shaking up the Middle East as the United States and Israel unleash sweeping strikes on Iran, marking a dramatic escalation that could redraw the region's security landscape. President Donald Trump has confirmed major combat operations are in motion, calling on Iranians to challenge their leadership as blasts rock Tehran and critical nuclear facilities. Internet blackouts are spreading inside Iran, cyber attacks disrupting state media, and diplomatic efforts collapsing, growing fears that this confrontation could spiral into a much broader war. And joining me now to discuss this further is Marcin Krzyżanowski, the Middle East expert at Jagiellonian University. Marcin, so glad to have you here with us in such a chaotic time, once again striking the Middle East. Now, I want to start by asking you this. Now, Israeli military says that it reportedly had planned this campaign for months, conducted a surprise attack on Iran, and on the sidelines, here we had Iran nuclear talks in Geneva. Tell me about the timing, precision on timing of the strikes on Tehran.
We have a second time when Iran is struck by Israel in the middle of the negotiation with the United States. This time, the attack was even more severe, bigger, broader than the previous one, that initiated the 12 years war. And this time, the Iranian answer is also stronger than it was before. It means that the current situation could escalate it quickly into broader regional war.
And is that a fear? Is it something that you really believe could happen, Marcin, that it's going to get worse before it actually gets better?
There is such a possibility. Iran today launched rockets targeted to American bases in the region, but that means Iran effectively attacked the territory of Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, and United Arab Emirates. Those states at the moment respond only with diplomatic notes and strong warnings against repetition, no military action up to now. But if Iran will repeat attacks against American bases located in those countries, there is a possibility that they will join the war on the United States and Israeli side. That scenario is unlikely to happen, but possible.
That's exactly what I did want to ask you, is whether those Gulf states would now be fully drawn into the conflict, whether they want to or not, right? Giving them actually no choice. But let me ask you, Marcin, how, with the scenario right now, how likely is it that this time around, as difficult as it may be to predict, that Israel and the United States are going to be successful in wiping out and taking down this Islamic regime that's been there since '79?
I think without ground intervention, without boots on the ground, there is no chance to destroy Islamic Republic as a political entity, as a state apparatus and political structure. However, it will be possible for US and Israel to destroy Iranian military industry, and with that, Iran will no longer pose a threat towards Israel, and that's the main objective of current campaign.
So, we are talking about Tehran was rocked with its critical nuclear facilities, right? At Fordo, Natanz, Isfahan. What is the Iranian government saying about this? There's, of course, many reports of denial. They're saying that IRGC members have not been killed. Their commanders have not been killed. And at the same time, I'm going to ask you if they are. Let's say that they are, right? Because, Israel is saying one thing, Iran is saying another thing. How significant is it for Iran's military command structure and political stability that the high above, and particularly, of course, Ayatollah Khamenei, that he would be killed in this entire operation?
Except Ayatollah Khamenei himself, to some extent the president and the speaker of parliament, and maybe two other senior members of the highest echelon of Iranian policy making. The others are insignificant. The previous war, 12 years, 20 days, 12 days war showed that Iran is able to absorb a lot of blows. During the last war, almost all of the highest command of IRCG and Iranian army were killed, and nothing happened. Iran, after a few hours, shook out itself and was able to fire the first salvos of rockets towards Israel. This time, the response were even more rapid, because the first salvo of Iranian rockets was launched less than 3 hours after the first attack.
And that salvo, I think, definitely caused quite some destruction in Israel. Marcin, I spent many years in Tel Aviv also reporting from there. And I have to tell you, though, the Israelis really didn't believe that Iran could do something like that. Maybe it comes from the Israeli narrative. Maybe it comes from what they hear in the news, that they have the strongest military in the world. However, I do believe that after October 7, that did change quite a lot, and especially when they saw the scale of destruction that Iran's ballistic missile caused on the ground in Tel Aviv and in the suburbs of Tel Aviv. How do you think Israel is viewing this entire operation? Does Netanyahu, this Israeli Premier Benjamin Netanyahu, feel that he will be successful? And most importantly, I want to ask you, how do you think that Israel views the day after? What does Israel want, from, okay, let's say the regime does get toppled. What next? What's in it for Israel?
For Israel, to be honest, almost all scenarios are quite positive. If Islamic Republic will stay in place, but it will be defunct with destroyed military industry, it will be no more a threat for Israel. If Islamic Republic will collapse and instead of it, some kind of democratic system will emerge, it will be even better for Israel. This more likely scenario when after the collapse of the Islamic Republic there will be a civil war in Iran, or kind of Iraqi or Syria scenario. It's even better because the Iran will be dismantled and no longer will be a threat to Israeli hegemony in the region.
What about, let me ask you, Marcin, what about now the proxies? Tell me a little bit about here, Hezbollah. Hamas isn't fully dismantled yet either. What happens to them in all of this?
At the moment, Hamas is, to be honest, insignificant, because its military power is completely shattered. It poses a constant threat to Israel, but at the moment it's not an important asset in the Iranian game. Among Iranian proxies at the moment, only Houthis declared that they will take a side of Iran. Hezbollah is waiting, and Iraqi militias remained silent. The question remains open if it is only a tactical pause, and they will join the party in the night or tomorrow after preparation of coordinated attack, or will remain silent under the threat of obliteration from the side of Israeli air forces.
And Marcin, now I think a very important factor here is also Russia. I mean, here you have on one end Donald Trump, being a little bit friendly, quote unquote, with Vladimir Putin, right? And, he keeps saying he wants to end the war in Ukraine. But now I'm pretty sure he didn't make Vladimir Putin too happy with striking Iran. What's Russia's role in all of this? How is Russia going to view this? How do you think it might impact the future of the possible ceasefire in Ukraine?
And the more United States are involved in one part of the world, the less force it can share with the others. So as long as the Middle East and Iran is main focal point of Washington administration, Moscow will be happy, even if its ally, let's call Iran like that, will be damaged or even destroyed. Russia, for sure, will not support Iran directly, but at the moment we know that there is an ongoing intelligence cooperation and exchange of information. Russia provides also to Iran quite impressive spectrum of military equipment, especially from the field of electronic warfare. Although, as I said, Russia will keep itself aside and as far from the hot conflict as possible.
Marcin, a last quick question here. Do you think that this is really going to be the moment that we see a change in Iran?
There is such possibility, but I don't think it will be a rapid change. At the moment, there is no political, well-organized opposition in Iran, and as long as there is no organized opposition, there is no political structure behind the protesters and enemies of the Republic, there will be no possibility to create something new, to create new political entity. Although the social unrest will be a major problem for the Islamic Republic in the next few months.
Thank you so much, Marcin Krzyżanowski, Middle East expert from the Jagiellonian University in Krakow, for being our guest here today.
Thank you very much and have a nice day.
And that's all for this edition of World Talks here on TVP World. I'm Diana Skaya. Thanks for watching.